Good afternoon. As I promised, I'm starting my challenge for January 2020. So this is the English translation of the video that I have created for the 1st of January. It has been delayed for a day because I had a technical issue with my computer. So I'm hereby starting to provide the first day of my challenge. I'm gonna teach you a few things in the supply chain in addition to some soft skills. So the first thing that I'll talk about soft skills today is if you have a challenge and you're not starting appropriately from the beginning, don't cancel it, don't delay it. Being late is much better than never. So I'm here by starting my challenge with you. So we will start talking today about the supply chain in more details. The first thing that I'll talk about is the salaries of the supply chain, because a lot of people are coming to ask me, does it worth it if we are going to have a career shift or we have the challenge to learn supply chain, does it worth it? So my answer would be, well, whatever you work as a supply chainer or in the finance team or the marketing team or the HR team, wherever you are working, you will have a good salary, because the salary is good everywhere as long as we are doing our best to achieve it. So the salaries for the supply chain in Egypt, let's say, I would say, as far as I know, in Egypt, it's between 3,000 Egyptian pounds up to 60 Egyptian pounds, 60,000. However, this could be less or more based on the level in the organization itself. Is it a local organization or a multinational? About the salary, well, all people are willing to have a good salary. But what creates a good salary for you is not the organization only, it's not the position only, it's your achievement and the value that you are adding to this organization. So please, whenever you are preparing your CV, don't just list the tasks that you are doing, please list your achievements. State what you have done in your organization in terms of projects, cost savings, and whatever activities you have participated on that have led to increasing the profit of the organization or reducing the cost. So this is what the organizations think of. What is your value added to this organization? So if you are willing to have a high salary, look at your experience, your learnings, your development, your achievements, and then you will go for the higher salary. However, the salary is not the only thing that will be considered when you are moving to work in the supply chain. You have to think of your capabilities and what are you willing to do. I mean, what are you enjoying to work with? Are you going to enjoy the supply chain? Is it that easy to work in the supply chain? Well, what I will say, maybe it's different than what others may say, especially if they are providing training courses about the supply chain. Well, supply chain is not easy. It's not easy to learn supply chain, and it's not easy to work within the supply chain. It's not about joining, it's about enjoying. It's a hard task. Yes, it's hard and hectic. Well, will it always be hard and hectic? It depends. It depends on the organization, on the level of the maturity of the organization, and anything would be easy if you learn it the right way. So we will not say that it's too hard, but we will say that we have to learn it to have it as easy as we can. And we have to love to do this task. It's something like when you enjoy problem solving, we enjoy having challenges, decision making, all these are part of the supply chain. So if you are someone who is willing to face a lot of challenges, to have always be responsible and having the sense of ownership toward what you do, then you can join the supply chain and enjoy it. If you are not willing to have this type of work, is it worth it to learn supply chain? Yes, you have to. Because if you are working in the finance, you are interacting with the supply chain. If you are working in the marketing, you are interacting with the supply chain. If you are working in the operations, you are interacting with the supply chain. So almost all the other departments, whether manufacturing mainly or a trading organization, is interacting with the supply chain. So the more that you know about the supply chain will be very helpful for you. Either you are in the supply chain or in another department, learn supply chain. And if you are going to have your own business later on, understanding the supply chain concepts and learning the supply chain will be really of help to you. So in either cases, it's good to learn supply chain. Okay, what's next? Well, if we will talk about why I'm supporting mainly because I believe that There are certain objectives when you do things for people. The first thing is to do something that will be in your, let's say, in your positive side. When you are up in heaven, you have something good that you have did for the people. So let's do something for charity. And if we will talk about the self-confidence and feeling of value, definitely when you help others to grow and to learn, you feel that you are valuable in this world. And finally, we all have to help each other. I'm here by trying to help you to understand and to learn what I have learned the hard way, in the easy way. And sooner or later, I'll find someone to help me in something. My kids will have someone to help them. You will find someone to help you, and others will help your kids, and so on. So let's try to help each other. And finally, if I will have a financial reward, it will be really great. Okay, so this is about why I'm doing this, and then we will start to think of what are the skills that a supply chainer would have, other than the technical skills that we will learn together, and other than the technicality of the supply chain. There has to be some certain skills that you have to acquire if you don't have it. The first of them is to have communication skills, because supply chain is about network within the organization, so you have to understand how to communicate with others. So please go and ensure that your communication skills are the best that you can. The next is to have computer skills, the basic computer skills, to know how to deal with Excel mainly, and then to know how to present your work, to have presentation skills, to have to know how to use the PowerPoint, the Word, and so on. So please make sure that you are having the basic knowledge of the computer. And you have to have some analytical skills, because supply chain is about data, having information, analyzing this information, and then taking decisions. Every day in the supply chain, you are taking decisions regardless of you are in a senior or a junior level. So you are a decision maker, and you have to understand that this is what is supply chain about, decision making. So you have to be responsible, and you have to be able to analyze the information that you have. And for sure, if we will talk about the core of the supply chain, and I'll be biased toward the planning because I've worked in the planning for some many years. So you have to have planning skills. You cannot achieve anything unless you plan it. So if you don't have the right planning, you will not have the right objective that you are willing to achieve. So please make sure that you are having the planning skills, understand what is planning and how we do it. For sure, you will have conflict with the supply chain. Always within an organization, you will have conflict between other departments. There is a department that is willing to have a decision that is contradicting with another. So the supply chain is about keeping the balance between these functions. So make sure that you are able to manage the conflict. And if you will have conflict management, for sure you will have to go for the negotiations. Whenever there is a conflict and we need to manage it, we will have to understand what does it mean to negotiate to find a better or an intermediate solution. So you have to have negotiation skills, and negotiation is not only about negotiating the prices with suppliers or the deals or the pricing with the customers. It's all about reaching a common ground. So negotiation is not only about prices and cost, it's more about how to find a common ground between you and the other party. So you have to understand how to negotiate well. Well, another thing is very important, which is problem solving. And when we talk about problem solving skill, it doesn't mean that you have only to find the problem and then ask someone else to solve it. Don't go to your manager and tell him that I'm having this problem, please help me to solve it or find the solution. You have to go to your manager with the problem, the related facts, and proposed solutions. When we talk about proposed solution, it means that you have did some effort to try to find solutions. Regardless of these solutions are the right ones or not, you have to do the exercise, and then you take the advice from your manager on which one is the right one. And if it's not all right, then he will give you a recommendation, and by time you will be very clever enough to select the right solution. So you have to have problem solving skills, and always to ask and always to know more, so that you can take the right decision, and by time you will be very easy to find the right solutions or the right answers for your questions. Well, if we will talk about the non-English speakers, well, the English is now the most common used language across the world. So if I'm gonna have importers, exporters, suppliers, and customers across the world, especially if I'm talking about a multinational organization that you are willing to join, then you have to have the English language. So please try to learn English as far as you can if you are not good at English, because almost all organizations are having the English language as the first language for now. I'm not sure about the future, but this is the current status that I'm seeing within the supply chain across my years of experience. So please go ahead. There is nothing named as you are too old to learn. We are all able to learn regardless of how old are we. So please don't stop and go and learn as far as you can. Well, another thing that I have to mention, it's related to the business ethics. When we go to the supply chain, we will have a lot of decisions that has to be taken, and sometimes these decisions could be in the favor of our department or our own personal position, yet it's contradicting with the whole business benefits. So please ensure that you have the business ethics. It's meaning that the organization benefit is first before you think of your department benefit. And if you are having contradicting KPIs or objectives between your department and other departments, the final is what is for the benefit of the organization rather than your department or the other departments. You will be responsible. So you are taking decisions, and these decisions are taken on some facts that you have and some predictions. So if you are predicting some information, and this is happening with the supply chain, yes, we have to take some decisions without a very clear information. So if you take a decision, you have to be responsible for this decision regardless of the output. Was it good or bad? You have to be responsible, and you have to have the courage to say yes. If you did a mistake, then you did a mistake, and you are courage enough to say it's your mistake. If it's not, then you have to help the others to correct it if possible. And finally, it's more about what is right and what is wrong. So if you will deal in the business, deal with the right ethics. Going forward, we are going to discuss what is the supply chain, what are the departments or the sub-departments within the supply chain. Each function is doing what, how it's related to the other functions within the supply chain and to the other departments outside the supply chain, the terminologies that we are using, the abbreviations used, and all the links between them. We will study how we manage our customers. So there's a new branch within the supply chain that is called customer relationship management. We will talk about it, and we will talk as well as about the supplier relationship management. We will talk about the systems used in the information technology related to the supply chain and to all the other subcategories within the supply chain. So this is for today, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye.